Good day, my enviable viewers out there. I am Folahan Oyelekon. This is a tutorial video on fences written by August Wilson. In this video, I will be discussing 2021 WAEC questions on fences. Let's go ahead. We have two questions here. The first one is on question 7, and it says, consider Rene's contribution to the plot. Consider Rene's contribution to the plot. Note, candidates are required to relate the question to the theme of the play, explain the meaning of plot, and identify Rene as a character before writing our contribution. These are the guidelines we need to follow in answering this question. Now the solution. The theme of racial discrimination and its effects on the lives of black Americans in the 1950s. The extramarital affairs of Troy Maxine with Alberta that produced Rene complicate the lives of his family. Now the definition of plot. Plot is the sequence of events in a narrative linked together through the principle of cause and effect. It is also the moment-by-moment narration of events in a story. It is otherwise referred to as a storyline in some discourse. All the actions and the events take place in Troy Maxine's, except those recalled through flashbacks. That is, all the events take place in Troy Maxine's place. Rene is the product of extramarital affairs that Troy has with Alberta, who died while giving birth at the hospital. So this is talking about the character of Rene, who Rene is. We need to identify that. His stepsister to Corey and Leon, and niece to Gilbert. Baby Rene is brought home by Troy, wrapped in blankets from the hospital. Things are under control in Maxine's family before Rene comes into the family. The only issue is Troy's not supporting Corey's playing football. Rene's entry into the family changes the atmosphere of the house. The most significant crisis erupts. Rose disowned Troy as her husband. He says, quote, "From right now, this child got a mother, but you are a womanless man," unquote. Rose accepts Rene as her daughter and disowns Troy as her husband. So these are the development in the house when Rene is brought in. The family is divided with Corey on his mother's side. He looks his father in the face to the extent that Corey eats his father. The situation in the house continues to worsen until Troy's death. Rene is the only source of joy for Rose after the death of Troy. When Corey comes back home after his father's death, Rose introduces Rene to him and Leonce. Rene reminds them of late Troy's favorite song on Blue by singing it. Rene explains that it is, quote, Papa's dog that he sings about all the time, unquote. She then explains how the dog dies. Rose urges Rene to get into her tight shoes to attend church service for Troy's burial. That is question 7. Now question 8. Comment on the appropriateness of the title, Fences. Comment on the appropriateness of the title, Fences. What we have to do here is to prove that Fences, as the title of the play, is appropriate, considering what happens in the text. Let's now do justice to the question. Note, candidates are required to relate the question to the theme and then explain the meaning of fence generally before explaining the appropriateness of fences as the title of the text. So these are the guidelines that we need to follow in this question. Now the solution. The main theme of the play is racial discrimination and its negative effect on the black American in the 1950s. The black Americans have to fight the menace of segregation, which fences them from certain opportunities and their self-inflicted fencing. A fence is a structure or artificial barrier that separates two pieces of land or a house perimeter. The title of the text could be traced to the building of a fence in the backyard of the magazines. Rose wants her family protected as he sings a song asking Jesus to protect her like a fence. Rose also believes that the conflict between Troy and Corey can be resolved if the duo works together on the fence. The fence eventually separates Troy and his son Corey. When Corey is kicked out of the house, it then stands as a barrier to them. That is, when Corey is sent out of the house, the fence stands as the barrier to the two of them. So this is just the literal meaning of fence. Now let's now go literally. Fence is also used metaphorically and symbolically in the text. Troy and Corey are always in conflict. This is seen as an emotional fence between father and son. So conflict stands as a fence between Corey and Troy, his father. Fence is also symbolized in the text by the various barriers confronted by Troy to his progress in life. A good example is that of his irresponsible and cruel father, which results in a bloody confrontation between them. Also, at his place of work at the sanitation department, a fence is built between the whites and the blacks. The blacks are not allowed to drive but are allowed to lift waste into the truck, only until Troy fights it and is the first black to drive the truck. That's another fence. That's another literary fence. Troy is also fenced to become a baseball player because he is black. Racism prevents him from becoming a professional baseball player. Now, as they built fence between Troy and becoming a baseball player, Troy also built a fence between Corey's son to become a footballer. Let's go on. Troy also built a fence between Corey and his aspiration to go to college on a football scholarship on the grounds that he will be discriminated against by the whites. Troy says this because of his personal experience when he was fenced from becoming a professional baseball player. Poverty builds a fence between Troy and living a dignified life. The father is poor and irresponsible, and Troy later becomes homeless, so he involves in crime. This ends him up in prison. A self-inflicted fence emanates from Troy's extramarital affair with Alberta, as it results in Rose's declaration that she is no longer Troy's woman. This puts a barrier between the husband and the white. Now, considering this answer, we see that fences as the title of the play is appropriate. Now, I have a compilation of past questions, WAEC past questions 2021 and 2022. You can visit my website at www.literaturehub247.com. Again, www.literaturehub247.com. Click on the bookshop and it will take you to this place where you see all my ebooks. All the ebooks here are very useful for you. So just click on download to download any one. This one is on 2021 questions. It contains a WAEC and NECO questions and answers. And also this one is for 2022 questions. It also contains WAEC and NECO questions and answers. Click on download and follow the instruction. If you are new on this channel, try to subscribe to the channel so that you have access to all my videos, and whenever I release any video, you will be notified. Like the video, Share it on Facebook, Twitter, any social media platform. Invite your friend also to subscribe to the channel. Thank you and God bless.